Murph, here we are, week 9, and I mean, this is obviously our game this week in the Crosstown Showdown, but this has to be the game, one of the games of the year, if not the game of the year in Cincinnati. How cool of a week is this going to be?
Well, I mean, it's pretty exciting. It really is. Obviously this time of year starts. Football starts getting more exciting, more exciting, more exciting. Let alone having 8-0 versus 8-0 in the history between these two schools. So just couldn't be more excited, no doubt about it.
Talk about your team and where you are. Obviously, you mentioned 8-0, but just talk about the progress and where you think you guys are going into week 9 and what's been your strength and what are some areas where you still need to improve.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the course of a season. You learn a lot of things week to week and things like that. But the mainstay around here the last 3 or 4 years, and probably for 30, has been really, really good defense. We're going to hang our hat on that defense, and offense has been a little bit hit and miss, hot and cold. You know what I mean? But I think literally it's been better every week. Maybe the numbers didn't show it from this past week even. But we were kind of blowout, kind of a trap game, and then with Anderson looming, so learned a little bit of a lesson in a win last Friday night. It wasn't the prettiest, but it was a win. We'll take that any way we can get it. Those are hard to come by.
You mentioned the defenses here in the history of Winton Woods. I've heard many people this year say this could be the best defense ever. Is that possible? And if so, what would make it that good?
Well, I mean, I would love to believe that. Statistically speaking, I think they've tied once again. We did it in 23, and we did it again this year with 3 shutouts in a year, and things like that. But I think it all starts, obviously with defense coordinator Carlton Gray is doing a phenomenal job and has done a phenomenal job. And then obviously we've got some really, really good players on that side of the ball. Not just football players, but academically, and we try to stress how much that translates to the field. Missed assignments in there is the same as missed assignments out here. And I think our guys, I think we do a great job week to week, changing things up a little bit, and guys getting the game plan and just running around, flying around.
Give me some names on that defense that people on a Friday night are likely to hear the PA announcer mention because they're so involved.
Well, I mean, some of the no-brainers, obviously Justin Hill, but I really believe, it starts up front. You hear all those cliches over the years, but the longer I do this, the more I realize that, it's all about O-line, D-line play. And I think that starts with Delane Massey-Wright. For 3.5 years, he's just been just as solid as they come up front. School leader in tackles for loss. You got another guy, Devon Kane. Got another guy, kind of an unsung hero on that D-line, Juan Morrison. Then you've got guys like Landon Anderson and Eric Morris at the linebacker crew just flying around. And then obviously the secondary is probably as good as they get. So really, really excited about that group, and they just they cease to amaze us there.
Talk about some guys on offense. When you look at a game like Friday, because Anderson's defense, we'll talk about that, but they're better than they have been.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about the guys on your offense that have to come big Friday night.
Well, Juju, obviously, Bryshon Brown's got to play a great game. Quarterback, it starts there. He doesn't necessarily have to win it for us, just can't lose us. And we talk about that with turnovers and silly things like that. But Juju's got to play a great game. Obviously, Zeke Garrett has come on here the last few weeks running the football, and he's really special for a sophomore. But once again, I think it's all going to start up front. That we had a guy out last Friday night, Raphael Green. He'll be back this Friday. He's the leader of that O-line. And I believe that O-line keeps getting better and better week in, week out. So, we need some guys, John Travis on the edge, Chris Mathis, Deuce Mathis, some of them kind of guys to make some plays, but feel pretty good.
Rarely do you get a game where you get two teams that are so good at one side of the ball. I mean, you guys have given up 35 points in 8 games.
Right.
They're averaging 51 points a game on offense. It's really it's a challenge for each, right? Their offense is challenged by your defense. Talk about your defense and how ready when you watch Anderson on film. What problems do they present?
Well, I mean, it's a good system. No matter who the quarterback's been over there, and for the years, the quarterback is always putting up really good numbers. They're good at what they do. They've got a niche, and they're good at what they do. So, we just kind of come up with a magic number. They're going to get theirs here and there. Those kind of offenses they're going to get some plays here and there. They're going to get a win here or there. In a series or, in a drive. But, we just got to hold them down as low as we can get them and try to outscore them. I know it sounds cheesy, but just getting some stops, going for it on 4th down like they do so many times causes, gives them an extra downs in a football game. So, we just got to keep them down and try to outscore them. Simple as that.
There's Indian Hill, Wyoming. There's Lakota East, Lakota West. But this Winton Woods Anderson rivalry regular season, postseason, it's really turned out, and really now with the stakes of a game like Friday,
Yeah.
this has got to be one of the better rivalries in the city.
Yeah, and it was actually a rivalry that I was kind of unaware of until getting the job here. You know, I was kind of outside looking in, and always, you know, I know Anderson won a state championship early 2000s, and this place in '09, and you know, had no idea until I started kind of digging through the record book, and you know, it's a good one. Like, it's a good one, and has been for, you know, 20 plus years. So, you know, blessed to coach this game and to coach in football games like this, no doubt.
Obviously, a lot of football left, and I'll ask you about being Division I momentarily. But how cool is it Week 9 to have a game of this magnitude? I mean, this isn't this really the essence
Yeah.
of what high school football is all about. It,
Yeah.
and I know you're so immersed in it, you're coaching in it,
Yeah.
you're trying to win a game. Do you ever just take a second and go, "Man, this is pretty cool"?
Yeah, every once in a while. You know, I don't do that enough. You know, I think back to 2021, a lot of people kept telling me along the way, you know, in those 16 weeks, to don't forget to enjoy it a little bit. So that's something I've remembered, and I've tried to do a little bit more of that. But like you said, what a great opportunity. I mean, you know, the Leafs are starting to change. My high school coach talked about, you know, when the Leafs start changing colors and things like that, you know, things are starting to get real, and we get a great playoff type atmosphere with a lot on the line in Week 9. So it couldn't be more excited. 8-0 at 8-0, and to play this game, I don't know what you'd be more excited. It'd be hard to beat this kind of scenario. You know what I mean? 8-0 versus 8-0. So.
Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, because I know you're a big proponent of Skyline. You love you some Skyline Chili. It's also great Skyline weather now, right? It gets a little chill in the air, right?
That's right.
So, I mean, I presume that's still going strong, right? You
Yep.
still, do you have a routine? Is there a certain number of times a week? Is there a certain thing you eat? What is it?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about a set routine, but, you know, I usually get the same thing. Stan having his little bit of misfortune last year and being shut down for a little while, that slowed my pace a little bit. You know, everything happens for a reason, though. So you know, I just trusted the plan, and maybe ate elsewhere here or there, but just not as much. But yeah, it's kind of pretty similar every time I go, though. So, and it's always good, always the same. You know what I mean? I've been to Mickey D's, I've been to some places and had a bad batch of fries or this or that, but it just hadn't happened to me at Skyline, and that's why I'm a loyalist.
Final question about the game. So when you look at Anderson on offense, and I know you mentioned they do what they do and they do it really well, for your defense to have the type of effort it needs, what do you have to do?
We just got to get some stops. You know, however we get those, whether it be pressure on the quarterback, but then there's times you can't pressure the quarterback so much because they're getting rid of it fast and getting you running sideline to sideline. So I'm gonna trust the man in charge of that defense that we'll be ready to rock and roll.
And the D1, I mean, you've been D2, now you're D1, you're in Region 4,
Yep.
You're number 2, currently behind Moeller in the Harbin ratings.
Yep.
I guarantee you there's plenty of D1 schools that don't want to meet Winton Woods in the playoffs. I mean, do you see that as a different challenge? Is it I mean, how do you approach being D1 this year?
I've kind of said it since the beginning, man. I mean, what a great opportunity. You know, even when we won it in 21 as a D2, you still got people around saying, oh, they're not playing this, they're not playing that. You know what I mean? So what do? We schedule Springfield, that's been the state runner-up 3 years in a row. Started out 1-0 against them that week. So, you know, as a football coach and our guys and the program that this is, I just, you know, what a great opportunity to play some of the best. They say that D1 Region 4 is one of the best in the country. Blessed to be part of that and have an opportunity to do our thing.